Okay, Gems of War on the PlayStation 4. We'll do one more of these faction assaults before we end the... We're gonna finish up the day with some of the time quests we got going on here. We also have a dungeon quest we can clear out. So we have a class, I think it's a class quest we can complete and a kingdom we can clear out. Before we do that, let's see. Already got my rewards. I can fight a level 1. Do I need to level up any of these people? I don't think that's right. I can't level them up after. I can't think I can level them up after we've already started the match, huh? Yes, so fine, whatever. We can beat a level 10. It'll be fine. Okay, so can we drop these 2 columns? Yep, we have a couple of blues we can drop for 4 in a row. Oh, 4 in a row already. I don't think there's any benefit to getting more than 1 extra turn, but that's okay. See? 4 extra turns in a row. Gonna go for 5. Nope, no more 4 in a row on the board. We can steal reds, we can steal browns, we can steal purples. No purples, huh? Nope, no purples. Fine. Fine. 4... No. Oh! Here we go. Can we get 4 in a row? No. That's fine. We get 3 in a row. Okay, we all charged up? No, we have some yellows we gotta charge up. We'll do those later. Okay, what do these guys do? Summon a fortress gate, so get rid of the second person. Okay, get rid of the second dude. Let's see, 'cause the new leader can summon replacements. True damage to the weakest enemy. He's not the weakest. We need more red gems. Okay, so let's charge it up. We're gonna make him the weakest in just a second. Now he's the weakest. So now we can kill him. So we can kill him with this 7 true damage. Done. Alright. So he was the most dangerous dude on the board. He's gone. Alright, like I said, a little bit of strategy, so now I can play a little loose, I think. We don't have enough red on the board, so we'll charge up my other magic. Whoop, don't need it. Okay, so we got 1 left. We'll be fine. So what's on the let's clear that out. So what's on the board for the what anime did I say I was gonna watch next? Yeah, I got TubiTV is showing Psychopaths. I'll see if I can make some time for that one. That's like a really good looking production IG series. You know, the same folks who worked on Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, that same anime studio. So they did the Psychopath show, which sounds a lot like anime Minority Report, which I believe Minority Report is playing on Pluto TV, if I'm not mistaken. Pluto TV app. And what's the other one? Yeah, Toriko is on Tubi TV right now, which looks like it's like a cooking show with it's like a shonen cooking show without the ecchi stuff. So I guess it's about a chef who travels the world and fights people, and he makes food on the side. I don't know. I'll see what's going on. It's dubbed. I couldn't find it subbed. I guess it's a problem with Tubi TV is that they don't always label which anime are subbed and which ones are dubbed. So you just pick an anime and you think it's subbed and it's not. And slightly annoying about it is that sometimes they'll have an anime that's supposed to be subbed, but like Space Dandy is subbed if you want it subbed, but you have to turn it because some Tubi TV shows have burned in subtitles, and some I forget which one it was. I'll double check. They're like I forgot what the show was called, but some Tubi TV shows have burned in subtitles. And some of them have closed captions, like Ouran High School Club and Space Dandy have closed captions you have to turn on in order to actually see the subtitles, because they're not part of the video feed. So if you don't need to see the subtitles, you can turn them off. Some anime, on some shows you have to, I can't drop these 2 columns. On some shows you have to, give me those yellows. On some shows you have to turn on the closed captions, otherwise you'll never be able to see the subtitles. I think YouTube does this a couple of times as well. Yeah, I want to say there are a few YouTube videos where I think it's anime. I think I think the Gundam channel, the official Gundam channel. Actually, no. There is a Bandai channel, I want to say, a Bandai official channel on YouTube that will show unsubtitled. No, they will show Japanese. They will show Japanese animation, but if you want the subtitles, you have to turn on the closed caption. Whereas if you were to go to the official Gundam channel, I forget what it's called, Gundam.info, they'll show stuff like Iron Blood Orphans. They'll show the second season of Iron Blood Orphans, but not the first. I don't know what sense that makes. But they show the second season of Iron Blood Orphans, and the subtitles are burned in. But if you want to watch if you want to watch what is it? If you want to stream the Gundam Blu-ray, I want to say there's like another channel that streams the Gundam Blu-ray for Char's Counterattack, and you got to turn on the subtitles for that, otherwise you can't see what's going on. Otherwise you never understand. Unless you speak Japanese, subtitles won't get in the way in that sense. Okay, let's kill this dude. I'm mentioning all of this because I'm trying to catch up to this stuff. I'm trying to catch up to my watch list. What was the? I think the most promising show I spotted. I want to get back to a bit later. Was what was it? I gotta do a level 4 to unlock this corridor. I gotta beat a level 4 enemy. What was it? Sounds Euphonium, which is a show about a bunch of high school girls in a high school marching band. And what tripped me out is that they actually played Rydeen, the Yellow Magic Orchestra song from the 70s that was being played on Soul Train back in the day. Yeah, that's my aesthetic, right? They got a bunch of Japanese, prog jazz fusion. They got a Japanese prog group to play on Soul Train, and the song they played on that performance was Rydeen, R-Y-D-E-E-N. And what's really funky about it is that they brought on this entirely Japanese band to play this really super nerdy, electro funk, song for the Soul Train audience. So you got these brothers, these brothers and sisters with their big fat afros dancing to this really funky Japanese prog song, which isn't the aesthetic I would have thought Soul Train was into, but I was into it. I'm pretty sure the video is still on YouTube because I didn't know anything about the Yellow Magic Orchestra. But in case you're wondering, the YMO was if you remember The Last Emperor, the Oscar winner, and what was it? Not Twin Peaks. Wild Palms, the ABC the ABC miniseries that Oliver Stone produced, came out in the early 90s. Highly regarded, as I recall. I saw the first 2 episodes, didn't like it at all, but I thought it was lame. I thought it was lame AF, but apparently Wild Palms was supposed to be like sort of a cyberpunky Twin Peaks, sort of a creepy Spec 5 mystery. I think there are some supernatural elements. I don't remember. But remember that miniseries came out around the time of the X-Files was blowing up, and Nowhere Man I think was pretty big, or at least it was a cult classic. But Nowhere Man, which I thought was cheesy as well. That show was on UPN, and that was on a bit of a run. Bruce Greenwood, if you remember him. He's played presidents in a lot of movies. I think he was also in what was that Tommy Lee Jones movie? Rules of Engagement. Yeah, he was in that Rules of Engagement movie with Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson. I think he was the president in that movie. We can just do one. We're just doing one. But yeah, Nowhere Man was basically one of those super crappy X-Files, Twilight Zone-ish kind of. It wasn't Twilight Zone-ish. It was just an X-Files show. It was a show that had it was a show with supernatural elements. It was a show about conspiracies and supernatural elements, like X-Files crap, but not good X-Files. Like basically people who saw X-Files and people who saw Oliver Stone's JFK, and people who watched the X-Files. And people who say, ooh, wouldn't it be creepy if we had, like, Bigfoot, and, wouldn't it be creepy if we had Bigfoot and aliens and carnies and the FBI and a guy on the lam and a guy who doesn't know his identity, like a guy like the Bourne Identity who doesn't know where he's from, like he doesn't know who he is, but he has some secret. Okay, I don't remember that much about Nowhere Man. I remember seeing it on VHS about 2 decades ago. I thought it was lame because I thought it was gonna be a really creepy, fun, you know, conspiracy thriller. Because I'd heard it was really interesting, and I was kind of into X-Files at the time, and I saw it. It was kind of crap. Maybe it gets better, but actually no. I rented the DVD because it included a commentary from Bruce Greenwood and I think one of the producers, and he's like, "Oh man, this was a great show. I love this show." It's like everyone was, because Bruce Greenwood, I don't know if he was that popular before Nowhere Man, but this was the show that I think put him on the map. So eventually he wound up doing American movies like 13 Days, which I think that was the Kevin Costner JFK movie, right? The other JFK movie with Kevin Costner in it, which was about the Cuban Missile Crisis, which is a very good movie actually. It might be streaming. I'll see if someone's streaming it on one of these free one of these free apps. Because 13 Days is a pretty interesting. I think it came out in the early 2000s. Yeah, it came out in the early 2000s, right around the George W. Bush era, and it was a film about JFK and the Cuban Missile Crisis. Literally those days when, you know, kids were hiding under desks, you know, duck and cover, because they were worried the Cubans were going to launch missiles and blow us up. You know, fun times. Back in the days when the greatest existential threat facing America was nuclear Armageddon. Again, well, I'm not going to comment on that, but I'll just say this. Watching 13 Days now is surreal, especially if you're a millennial, or if you're a millennial. Well, actually, no. If you were born in the late 90s, or like if you're under the age of 30, I'm very curious to know how you under 30 kids feel about the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis and stuff like that. Because, dude, I mean, I didn't have to go through this, but your great-grandparents, probably your grandparents or your great-grandparents, the people who were living through the 50s and 60s, were probably doing duck and cover drills. You know, they weren't doing drills for, like, shall we say, other emergency situations. They were doing fire drills, and they were also doing duck and cover drills, because they were worried, not about humans walking into classrooms. They were worried about missiles being launched from Cuba or Siberia, you know. They were worried, maybe if you lived in Alaska, maybe you were worried about, you know, Russians launching missiles over the Bering Strait or something. I don't know. But at the risk of being extra macabre, we'll just say that I'm curious how people react to the, you know, the Cold War, the fears of a Cold War America. The game done changed, let's just say, after the 1990s. But who knows? Maybe after all this blows over, maybe the new Roaring 20s will come in. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting decade after we're done with all this. Let's do a level 5, because if we can be a level 4, then we can definitely beat a level 2. Yep, I'm a Warlord class, which is what I wanted. Queen Grapple Pot. Wait a minute. Okay. I think she's covered up. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Red. Okay, what are we stealing? We're stealing greens, blues, and yellows. So I can do that. Okay, yep, stealing greens, blues, and yellows. I want to say didn't the library have Ouran High School Host Club? I don't remember. Because I want to say I saw a bit of episode 1, like maybe 2 decades ago. It's been Ouran High School Host Club is supposed to be from the 1990s, I think. That's like vintage anime, technically, right? Greens. Wow, we don't use greens. I'm kind of shocked. Yeah, we don't use greens at all. Or purple. Yeah, we use purple. We use purple. That's to say. So how does it work? Vintage anime is from the 70s and 80s. Let me put it this way. There's anime from the 80s and 90s. There's vintage anime, I think, comes before... Everything before Akira, I think is considered vintage anime. This is like trying to explain the console generations in video games. It's like vintage anime is everything that came out before Akira. Maybe let's just put it that way. Everything from like the everything that came before, everything from the mid 1980s and earlier is vintage. You know, Astro Boy, Speed Racer, that, you know, Transor Z, you know, that kind of stuff. Sure. Macross. But I tend to believe anything that came out after Akira is part of the golden age, the late 80s, early 90s, the golden age of anime, back when Japan was blowing the heck up. And Japan was blowing the heck up, like they were buying America. They were moving to America. You know, they were scaring us because, you know, they were Asian, because you know we were scared of Asians back then. Yeah, fun fact, kids. Back in the day, America was really scared of Asia. It was positively quaint. But I think, what was it? Back in the late 80s, early 90s, Japan was blowing up. Their economy was blowing up. Japanese animation was getting really extravagant. Like I said, Akira was looking great. Tokyo Movie Shinsha was also doing a bunch of Disney shows back then. Like right around 1985, 1980, I think it was whenever Gummi Bears came out. 84, 85, I want to say it was 86. Gummi Bears is fascinating to look at from an animation standpoint, because that was a show. Can't attack him. So I was trying to target the leader, but I wasn't allowed. Destroy the entire board, why don't you? Slow down, slow down. Jeez. Okay, that was really rough. So I shouldn't have used my thrall. So yeah, I shouldn't have used my thrall, because that would have been my chance to so I gotta summon my warlord back. Ah, these level 5s are the worst. These level 5 enemies are the worst. Okay. But basically, it's like, okay, imagine if this were like the mid '80s. The Smurfs is airing on NBC. And it's done on a budget. You know, you understand. You know, it's animated in America, I think mostly. You know, by Tony Love. You know, Richard Trueblood. Those guys, I believe, animated the Smurfs. And it's the mid '80s. You know, Filmation is still doing He-Man and She-Ra, and they're doing shows in America on a budget. But then Disney is getting into the TV show game. So Disney wants to start producing its own TV shows. This is before the Disney afternoon. So they're saying, okay, we're going to do this show called Wuzzles. Or we're going to do this show called Gummi Bears. And it's like, okay, the Smurfs are hot. Let's do a Smurfs-like show called the Gummi Bears. Which is kind of like the Smurfs, only it's animated in Japan. And what's wacky about it is that here's this show with Disney money, being Disney just throwing Scrooge McDuck money over to Japan, to Tokyo Movie Shinsha. Say, hey, that Nazca movie's pretty interesting. Yeah, we love Lupin. We love Lupin the Third, or Rupin the Third, I think as it was called at the time, because we didn't know what they were saying. We didn't know what the chicks were singing in the theme song. Okay, let's unleash this thrall right here. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, we love Rupin the Third and Nausicaa and Inspector. Yeah, we love Inspector Gadget. You guys, yeah, that's right. You guys have worked with Western, studios before. How would you feel if we paid you like a boatload of money to animate a Saturday morning cartoon show about cute kawaii teddy bears? And Tokyo Movie Shinsha, I forget who the animators were. I don't know if Osamu Dezaki was working on the show, but obviously Tokyo Movie Shinsha, they had some like hardcore, like big time animators. I don't know if Kitakubo was working there. Was it Hiroyuki Kitakubo was the director of what was it? He was the director on Project Echo. And I remember he was also an animator. He might have been a sequence director on Akira. And I think the whole deal with it was, okay, that guy's gonna kill us. That guy at the bomb's gonna kill us. Is he summoning people? He summons goblins. That guy has way too much health. He's gonna kill us. Okay, so we're gonna die. So let's just make things interesting. Yeah. So We need to destroy the column with threads. Okay, so yeah, so imagine if you're Disney. It's like we're throwing all this money at Tokyo to do a Smurfs-like series, and you're Ruby Spears, you're Hanna-Barbera, you're NBC. You're looking at this Gummy Bear show, and you're like, good freaking lord, this show looks amazing. There's no way we can make the Smurfs look this good. Not with the money we're paying our American dudes. These guys are going to Japan. They're outsourcing their animation they're outsourcing their animation to East Asia to save money. And Disney, of all people, is doing this. You know, Disney didn't afford to animate this stuff on their own. They just did Black Cauldron. But Disney was in trouble back then, I think. You know, Tron was a flop, so they were not going to do very well. But I can just imagine Disney just being like, okay, we're gonna cut back. We're still gonna make movies. But we're gonna make less expensive movies. You know, we're gonna make Great Mouse Detective. We're gonna do Oliver and Company eventually. But we're not gonna spend a whole lot of money on these movies because Black Cauldron ate our lunch. Let's do some TV shows. Okay, so let's see what we got. I'm probably not gonna do any more of these. Wait, I think I got an ingot. That was actually worth it. That was worth it. Okay. No, I don't know what weapons actually this. Because I want to say different ingots upgrade different weapons. Yeah, we're in stage 2, so I guess the rewards get more interesting. Don't have a soul forge yet. Epic troops. Do I already have one of these? So if I spend 120 gems, I get 1,000 souls, which I can easily get. I can get one of those inside of a treasure. Well, not inside of a treasure. I know if I do like a PvP or an arena fight, I can definitely get those. I'm not spending money on any of this crap. Okay, so how much time do we have? Okay, we got an hour, so we can keep doing faction assaults if we want. We'll do a dungeon eventually. There's no time limit on that. That's a permanent upgrade. So while I'm here, before time runs out, I have my Warlord turned on. So let's set this up, or at least I will turn on my Warlord. Dig for gems, or dig for... You almost never get these Deeds of Air. Okay, we're gonna swap out our class. I'm gonna have to switch another class. It's really bad. Or actually, I'm gonna have to start leveling up my classes at some point, because I'm gonna want all the extra, you know, attack and life points I get out of that. We'll worry about that later. I'm pretty sure I went off on a tangent and I forgot where my train of thought was leading. But I said, you know, I was talking about Disney and Tokyo Movie Shinsha. But yeah, vintage animes from like 85 and earlier, basically. Can I drop these 2 columns? Not that. I don't want to break that, so let's just do this instead. Got 4 in a row there. So, yeah, vintage animes from like 85 and earlier. Like I said, anything before Akira is considered vintage anime, maybe. Let's do that. Let's set the taxonomy now. Everything that came out before Akira is vintage, at least as far as America's concerned. Everything from like the 80s and 90s is golden age. And everything from the 20th century on is called modern. It's like Pokemon is technically from the golden age, I guess. Although here in America it's interesting because oh no, that's right. Okay, there's the vintage era that ends when Akira comes out. There's the golden era, which ends when Pokemon is released in America in 1999, and then we're in the modern era, which is basically everything after Pokemon. When anime blew the crap up internationally, and it's no longer just another export. Can we drop these 2 columns? Darn it, no we can't. I can steal that yellow. I tried. Oh, give me that. Because in America there is definitely like a year 0. There is an A. You know how there's like AD and BC. In America, the anime timeline is literally BP before Pokemon and AP after Pokemon. Because before Pokemon, anime was big, it was legit, but it wasn't huge. Pokemon, we're in the post-Pokemon era now. There's no other fair way to say this. Hold on. I love this Undine I got. Did I show you this Undine I got? epic character. I leveled him up to level 10. He harvests 3 colors, blue, green, and red, as you can see at the top. And this skill right here, let's see, this magic attack, the spell, does 9 damage to an enemy and the next enemy below, which it doesn't have to be adjacent. It's whatever enemy is below them. Boosted by merfolk, of which there are 2, and submerged allies. I also, after I execute this attack, I submerge the blue allies like him. He's my only blue ally. And he silences blue enemies. So this is a bunch of stuff going on over here. Check the bottom right-hand corner of the screen where it says boost ratio times X plus 16. That means you're going to do 16 damage on top of the 9 base damage that we will do to 2 enemies. The target and the enemy below the target. So we're going to do 25 damage to 2 enemies. More importantly, we're also going to submerge any blue allies, so I'm going to get submerged. And we also silence any enemies that use blue, like the second enemy over there uses blue. Let me mention this. I have 2 merfolk in my party. The Shocktopus right here is a merfolk mech, so he counts towards my boost ratio. And of course the Undine is merfolk. So because I have 2 merfolk allies in my party, my boost ratio is 2 times 8. So if I had 3 allies who were part of the merfolk race, I would be getting 24 boost. And oh, by the way, once I execute this spell, this Undine is going to get submerged, which means enemies can't target an Undine with a attack that targets everyone on the screen. So if the enemy has a spell that targets my entire party, the Undine will dodge that. The submerged enemies can be targeted. See, submerged at the top right-hand corner of the screen. It says avoid all damage effects targeting the whole team. Individual targets can be made. In other words, you can target a submerged enemy individually, but you can't just do a sweep of the entire party and hit the submerged character at the same time. More importantly, like I said, once I execute this spell, I submerge myself, which means that if I am submerged and the Shocktopus is still on the board, then that means that boost ratio is going to go up to 3 times 8, because a submerged merfolk counts as a double boost. So if I'm submerged, then that means I get a boost ratio of 16, and if the Shocktopus is still available, we're going to do a plus 24. So execute this spell as soon as you can. It takes a while to charge up, though. So we're going to target both enemies. We're going to target the leader and the second leader. See? So we targeted both of those enemies. And apparently, if there's a gap between 2 enemies, you still target the enemy below it. So it doesn't have to be an adjacent enemy, I don't think. I'll double check. I haven't bothered to confirm because I haven't recorded a commentary about this part yet. Let's see. 10 damage to all purple enemies. I don't have any purple enemies. Yeah, I don't have any purple allies, do I? Nope. So we're not going to take a hit. Okay. We can do square. Purple and red. Shocktopus, hit him with the red. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah, my ancient golem was purple. I'm sorry. I totally forgot that. Dead anyway. So you got your hit on. I hope you appreciated that. Let's see. So I think if I need to vamp, I think I'm either going to talk about video cards I have no intention of buying, or anime I intend on getting around to watching. And yes, I'm on episode 14 of Demon Slayer, and no. I really want to like Demon Slayer. We'll talk about Demon Slayer. I really want to like Demon Slayer. I really do. It looks really good. The characters are reasonably interesting on paper. It's a shonen series that kind of has a bit of a gentle side to it, but the dialogue and the character. I mean, okay. Without getting it, we'll get into it later. The blonde guy, Zaibatsu, I don't remember his name. The blonde guy, He's annoying. He's annoying AF. He screams and yells all the time. He runs around like a chicken with his head cut off all the time. Every one of his little every time he catches a case and has an episode and pitches a fit, it goes on for like nearly a minute. Every time he opens his mouth, he goes on one of these rants. It lasts forever. And the dude wearing the boar's head, he's like Scrappy-Doo, which on paper sounds really interesting, but at some point, the blonde guy discovers that Nezuko has been hiding out in Tanjiro's backpack. You know, the main character is backpacking, is throwing his sister into a backpack, and he's backpacking her around. And the blonde guy discovers this. He's sort of incel, I guess. And he starts freaking out. He completely changes his attitude once he finds out there's this girl hanging out with him. And so he may become the next Scrappy-Doo because now he gets his protection instincts activated, and he's going to be a completely different character now, I guess, because he has to win the love of Nezuko, I suppose. But I've only seen like half of the episode, so I mean it could go either way. But I mean the episode after the cliffhanger of one of the episodes is, oh my God, you've had a woman in your backpack this whole time. You've been making out with her. You've been making out with this chick the whole time. I'm like, I had no idea you were hanging out with a girl. You've been making out with this girl the whole time. It's like you literally had a girl in a box, not boxing Helena, but boxing Nezuko. You literally had a girl in a box. You didn't tell us, dude. Why didn't you share her or something? Dude, that was a nice drop. 4 skull drops. Holy crap. Yeah, so it's like boxing Helena. Yeah, I mention this now. So I beat a level 5200 enemy, Huzzah. But it's like, so there's literally a chick in a box. He's like, oh my God, I've been hanging out with a girl this whole time, and you've been making out with her. And of course, obviously, it's funny because they're brother and sister, right? Like all the fanfic that got written as soon as the Demon Slayer episode 1 ended was incredible, I'm sure. But the whole joke is that they're brother and sister, so clearly it's not like that. But of course, the blonde kid won't shut up, so Tanjiro can't get a word in edgewise to just explain, oh, we're brother and sister. Like the dude doesn't shut up for like 2 or 3. Literally, the last 2 minutes of the episode is the blonde kid just freaking the heck out about the fact that this girl's been hanging out with us the entire time because they've been together for like 2 or 3 episodes. They had no idea this chick was hanging out with them. And like I said, this dude's he's sort of lovelorn. Like I said, he's sort of a mini incel, I guess. But the point is that it's like, I mean, we were introduced to the blonde kid because he has boundary issues. We're introducing to this guy who's, on his knees and he's in peak, dude tier, manly tears. These weren't manly tears. These are like, he's not even getting friend zoned. He just apparently, as soon as we meet him, he's like on his knees, begging this woman to marry him. And this woman's like, chill the heck out, stop, chill the heck out. And his whole deal is like, I want to marry you, please marry me. And she's like, no, stop. And then the whole bit is that they literally don't know each other at all. He was just on the side of the road. She says hi. She just says hi and asks, she just asks, are you okay? And then apparently he like flips out and says, oh my God, this chick said hello to me and he wants to marry her like right on the spot. And the whole bit, this thing goes on for like 5 or 6 minutes where the dude just will not shut up. He won't stop crying. He won't stop bawling. He won't stop screaming. He just goes on and on about how this chick has to marry her. And Tanjiro has to break them up saying, hold on, this chick clearly is not interested in you. What are you doing? Back off, bro. And his old deal is like, and then at some point, the woman reveals, no, I don't know you. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I saw you on the side of the road. I want to make sure you're all right. And obviously, dude isn't getting the signals. Blonde dude is not reading the room. So eventually the chick runs off And blonde dude is sitting there like bawling, like now he's mad at Tanjiro for you know scaring away his future wife, and he's like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like, she clearly wasn't interested in you. What's your deal? And eventually we find out through another, you know, 2 or 3 minute screaming session that he apparently owes to someone. He owes money to a debtor or something. But he's screaming. It's like it's exposition. But he's screaming the exposition. Like he's not just saying, you know, I'm a guy, I'm just on my luck, I'm in some financial trouble. He's not saying that. He's literally giving us his life story by screaming it. And he's screaming an exposition at us. He's screaming exposition at Tanjiro for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's like, and they're playing it for comedy, obviously, because, blonde guy is kind of dumb. But you see what I'm getting at, right? And I almost won that fight, too. But you see what I'm getting at, right? It's like this whole bit about this guy is that he has no chill. He has no boundaries. He can't read signals. He's really sort of extra when it comes to women. And I guess he's super codependent. I don't know. Yes, I mean, it's a character arc. Your characters are allowed to change. But I mean, at this point, the way you develop your characters, to me, is more interesting than the fact that you can't just throw a poorly developed... You can't just throw a poor... In other words, imagine a job interview with a candidate who's just not a good interview. How many, like, you can the writers to make dialogue flow and characters sort of either relatable or sort of plausible. The idea is to develop characters plausibly, not to simply present them as if they were reading, the story Bible to us. In other words, if you have an outline of a story and you're introducing characters and you're explaining the character, you're explaining the personalities of all the characters. And in my opinion, that stuff should be done with not through exposition or characters doing confessionals. I tend to believe that kind of stuff should be done by having the character sort of like it's possible to completely redo that scene. Like maybe the subtitles are bad, I don't know. Because obviously I watched it subbed. I don't know if the English dub is any better. But that's the kind of scene that if I were a translator, I would want it to be rewritten. I mean you but you change the dialogue, you change the flow of the conversation so that it seems less like, a character who's just screaming his life story at us. And instead of doing the histrionics, like why not just make blonde guy, okay, we don't care about that, destroy 6 gems of a color. Can we use browns though? No, so we're gonna use reds. Okay, Shocktopus, go get him. Actually, no, before we do that. So we'll just kill him right off the bat. Ah, wow. What was that? Deals 24 scatter damage. That was the problem. Scatter damage. Okay, so we're gonna survive, but we have to... These team score... We have a team score of 5,200, so this could be a problem. Okay, like I said, no more dungeon delves for a while. Actually, no more faction assaults. We'll do a dungeon delve instead. Okay, the leader's gonna burn herself out in a second because she's also silenced, so that's cool for us. Shocktopus, hit him with the red. Yeah, Shocktopus, hit him with the red. We got more blue on the board, so we'll be ready. Okay, she's dead. Okay, let's see. Blue. We got 3 blues. Yeah, 3 blues. So hit somebody. That's 4 blues. We got 4 blues. Okay, 1 more to go. We got this. I don't think I've ever beaten a level 5,200 enemy before. An enemy with a team score of 5,200. I don't think I've ever beaten a team that strong. This is an upset. But again, my warlord class is pretty good. So it's not about the score really. It's about It's about the synergy of your characters and how well and what your strategy is. Strategy does matter in this game. It's not just about luck. It's about if you have a good loadout and if you can beat the team that's in front of you. Like, I don't think we can beat a level 7700 team, but I'm pretty sure we can beat these guys, as you can see right here. It's gonna be close, but we'll beat them. But you gotta have some super leveled up characters to beat them. Steel reds and golds. No reds on the board, so we're good. And what's next? Melty Lancer. We'll check out Melty Lancer a bit later on TubiTV. Red. Can we hit him with the... Oh, don't need the blue yet. We'll hit him with the blue in a second. Never mind, don't need to. Okay. So before I end the video, I'll do a 7700. I'll do a team that's score 7700. I'll probably get my butt kicked because I barely won this fight. I think I need a higher level class. Like, I need a class with better traits, and I need them to be leveled up. 7700. Okay, deeds are hard to find, so I'll see if I can beat a team that's very difficult. Again, we're probably not going to win this fight. Let's just see how we do. Because we can't... Let's level up, by the way. So Undine's going to be one of my mains now. You can stay, Undine. You're pretty awesome. Don't want to use up all my souls, though. Yeah, that'll work. Level 16. So a normal character would have a max level of 16 or 17, I want to say. But let's see. This epic character can go up to 20, so that works for me. So we'll keep him in level. We'll keep him in the 3rd slot for now. Did my team score go down? Yeah, it's messed up, but anyway. Okay. Takeshi Mori is the director of Melty Lancer. For some reason that name does sound familiar. I'll check him out. In a lot of animation studios, the directors are veteran animators, and they tend to be attached to a particular studio. Like the guy who directed the Yugi-oh movie is also the same director for Samurai X, Rurouni Kenshin, the movie, because it was created out of the same studio. I think it was Madhouse. In fact, what was it? The guy who directed Night on the Galactic Railroad also directed the other Group Talk. What was that other Group Talk anime? Yeah, the guy who directed the Street Fighter 2 the Street Fighter 2 anime from back in the 90s. That guy also directed Night on Galactic Railroad. So you could say, oh, this guy has incredible range. Well, it's more than likely that the guy's a veteran animator who worked at Group Talk or Group TAC for a while, and one of his projects would have been the Night on the Galactic Railroad, which that's a very good anime, by the way. It's a family-friendly anime, rated PG. It has cats, and it has a spectral railroad in space, a spectral locomotive in space, kind of like the Galaxy Express, I guess, kind of like the Captain Harlock Galaxy Express. But I saw Night on the Galactic Railroad on VHS, subtitled, back in the day, back in the early 2000s. It's a very, very good anime. And if it's streaming, I'll point it out to y'all. It might be streaming on YouTube legally. I'll double check. Okay, let's clear out the leader. Wrong button. Ugh, wrong button. Do the greens. Yeah, I hit the wrong button. Darn it! See, I hit the wrong button. I meant to choose the Undine, and now I'm host. See, that would have killed her. She wouldn't have even gotten that attack off. But everyone else has too much health, so our attacks aren't strong enough to win anyway. So I could have killed her right off the bat, but you know, I picked the wrong button. See what happens when you choose a spell? I kind of wish you can back out of it, saying, wait, don't cast this spell, don't cast this spell. But the game doesn't let you do that. Once you press the cast button, the game doesn't let you back out and cancel it, unless you retreat from the battle, I think. But yeah, I tend to believe that the director of... What was the director of Street Fighter 2, the director of Night on Galactic Railroad, was asked by his producers to do an animated film based on the Street Fighter video game because Capcom paid them to do an animated film. They got the rights to make a Street Fighter 2 movie. And they asked their veteran animators to work on it, and he was probably still on staff at the time. So you have this dude who directed this PG-rated movie about cats and he created this PG-rated Neko movie about cats in the afterlife. Say, okay, well now do a movie about these video game characters who punch and kick each other. We'll have this scene where one of the chicks is showering naked, and then she beats up a dude in her underwear while in a nightgown. And I'll talk about that some other time, because there was a video, I forget what the dude's name was. Actually, no, actually she's transgender. She did a video about the empowering, quote-unquote, the empowering ecchi, unquote, of High School of the Dead, which is a terrible show, by the way, or at least I saw the first 4 episodes and it was god-awful. I think I saw it, I don't remember, I think I saw it subbed. But it's the kind of show, it's like, basically it's from the director of Attack on Titan. It's from the director of Death Note and Attack on Titan. At least the first episode was directed by him. There's this whole bit where it's like, the chicks have really enormous chests, okay, and their skirts are really short, and the camera angles are framed so you always get shots of their panties. And there's this whole thing going on in that show where it's like, oh, it's like Walking Dead, but with hot high schoolers well, first of all, it's only the women, it's never the dudes. It's always the women. The women all have short skirts. The men are all, you know, because it's the uniforms, obviously, right? Nearly all the women just have double C's and double D's. The dudes are all wearing pants, and the dudes all have sleeves and they wear pants. You know that a woman is in trouble because there's a camera angle that shows the woman's panties, and maybe it shows the women clutching their chests. So you know they're gonna die, or you know they're vulnerable when the scene frames them that way. And what that video was trying to argue is that, at least from using one scene as an example, is that this scene shows a woman that's turning the tables, because when the show first starts out, every woman that's about to be killed is framed that way. It's framed in that sensual way. It's framed with the fan service. It's framed with the panty shots. It's framed that way. But what happens is that at some point, I think the twist is that at some point one of the main female characters is being framed in that same way with the fan service, but then she turns the tables and the fan service goes away. So it's like, the idea is that when she's apparently the visual narrative is this woman's in danger, so we're gonna show her panties. We're gonna have a shot that's literally ground level, pointed up. We're gonna do an upskirt shot while she's vulnerable, and we're gonna move the rear end closer to the camera. But as soon as she turns the tables, the camera shots become a lot less ecchi. So when she's vulnerable, there's fan service. But when she's no longer vulnerable, the fan service shots stop. And my counter to that was the Street Fighter 2. What was it? My counter to that was the Street Fighter 2 animated film, which was Chun Li versus Vega. Chun Li, okay, the American version cut out the shower scene because she was naked. But even if you see the original uncut version, which I think Retro Crust is showing, actually they probably cut out the shower part. But you know that Chun Li is leaving the shower at some point. So as soon as Chun Li leaves the shower, she gets dressed, and that was a concession. And that might have been a concession. I think it was a good concession, because what happens after that is, first of all, the whole reason she's showering in the first place is because they're trying to set up her vulnerability, right? The whole reason that scene takes place is because they want to give Chun Li one big confrontation, because Chun Li in this movie doesn't really fight anybody. She's toying around with Guile early in the movie, but she's not fighting anybody. So she has to fight somebody. So it was decided to make her the target of this really nasty pretty boy, Vega, who was obviously called Balrog in the original Japanese. But America called him Vega. And because the blonde dude with the claws and the mask, he's technically supposed to be a Balrog because of the claws, but don't worry about it. The point is that the scene is set up so that Chun Li is vulnerable because she's just taken a shower and she's coming out of the bathroom. and she's getting attacked by this dude who's been stalking her while she's in the shower. The conceit again is that she's in the shower, therefore this dude who's stalking her can sneak into her apartment and try to kill her, or worse. But the idea is that in this movie, I think a concession was made to say, no, don't have her fight Vega while she's naked. We're gonna lose our PG. We're gonna, this movie's gonna be rated. I think the movie was rated PG-13 in Japan. I don't know, but it's like this is gonna turn into a hen. We're gonna get an adults-only rating. We're not gonna be able to screen this in theaters. We can't sell it overseas because obviously back then, Capcom was interested, I think, in getting this anime movie translated and distributed overseas. And if you have this scene where Chun Li's fighting naked, they're never going to be able to sell it. Well, actually, they could have sold it, let's be honest. But we're going to lose our audience. We're going to lose our international audience if we have an entire 5-minute sequence where a chick is fighting a dude while naked. So she's in her underwear and she's in her nightgown. And the whole scene shows her vulnerability. At every she's vulnerable, but she's always able to fight back. She is never just a toy to be sort of leered at. She's always ready to defend herself. She's the strongest woman in the world. At one point during the lifts a couch and throws it at Vega. Despite the fact that she has like several gashes in her shoulder, she literally picks up a sofa and have all the seats and throws it at Vega. But the whole bit is that at every point in that scene, she's vulnerable. Not because you can see her panties and not because you can see her bra or anything like that. She's vulnerable because she's throwing hands with this dude that's claws. She's throwing hands with this dude who's cutting her up constantly, who's, kicking her and punching her and, like I said, gashing her up left and right. But he's also taking a few hits. He's getting knocked the heck out. He's doing, cartwheels and, spin kicks and all this other stuff, but she's doing the same thing to him. I think at one time she manages to smack his mask off and give him a shot right to the jaw. And this ticks him off because he's like, my beautiful face is ruined. And again, you can see the subtext there. It's a thought that this dude thinks he's gonna have his way with this woman who just got out of the shower, and of course she's completely not having it. She's like, he's trying to do he's literally a slasher trying to do the slasher film thing, and she's just not having it. And at one point she beats him up so bad that his face is ruined. And this set, because he's not able to look. I think he was looking at himself in this mask at one point, and this sets him off. So he starts really just going after her, and eventually, but again, the way the scene is set up, the vulnerability of Chun Li isn't shown by every framing. It's done by showing how physically vulnerable she is during the fight. At a couple of points, she stumbles, like she steps back at one point, and she almost because she's tired. She's been beat up the entire fight. Her vision gets blurred because she's getting beat up. She has to catch her breath at several occasions because this is a really tough fight. So again, her vulnerability isn't being shown based on panty shots. It's being shown based on the fact that she's constantly in danger, and yet she's constantly. He did not take that skull match, by the way. But she's constantly needing to collect herself during the fight. There's an ebb and flow to the fight that shows the vulnerability of both people without. And by the way, Balrog, the blonde dude, is topless. So let's just put that out there. Basically, you have this chick in her underwear and a nightgown fighting a topless dude with claws who wants to have his way with her. She's totally fought back. That instead of framing the scene as pervy, they frame the scene vulnerable. Like, what's his name from Lord of the Rings? Did you with Aragorn? Aragorn was attacked in the shower by a bunch of dudes, and he's completely naked. And the nakedness was supposed to represent the vulnerability, but again, it's a scene where a dude is naked and he's being attacked and he has to defend himself while naked. But the whole point is that, okay, but your anime isn't showing the woman fighting while she's naked. I'm sure there are anime out there that do that. But the whole point is will show a dude naked to convey vulnerability. The PG-13 rated cartoon is willing to show this empowered female fight back an attacker and completely demolish the attacker, despite the fact that she had to use every ounce of energy she had to defend herself. She didn't go through unscathed, but because she persisted. Chun Li persisted. So because Chun Li persisted, she managed to survive that confrontation. Oh, I'm submerged now. So you see right there in the bottom right hand corner of the screen? So I'm submerged, so there are 2 merfolk, and one of us is submerged. Therefore, it's a 3 times 8 boost ratio. 24 damage on top of the 12 damage I'm going to do. So let's do this. So we're going to, as soon as we press the cast button, we can't back out, but that's okay, we'll be fine. So let's do a big hit. That was as big as I thought it'd be, but that's okay. Okay. Got a +5. Okay, that's right. I forgot to check that. That dude summons a Drake every time he dies. See? 100% chance to summon Drake on death. Like, I guess. But, so I guess the idea is that kill so there are 4 enemies on the screen. Kill one of those guys first, so he can't summon a replacement. Because the Drakes have a So let's set this up. Shocktopus, Brown. Because we are down with Brown. So again, you get my point, right? It's possible to show a character as vulnerable without making them naked, Eastern Promises, or without being pervy about it with the fan service, as in High School of the Dead. Saying, oh, other directors just do the fan service for the fan service, because there's a blonde lady in High School of the Dead that literally we were introduced to her because she's sleeping on a desk with her 48-inch cups, you know, serving as her pillow. And later on, the first time as soon as she appears on screen, it keeps saying boing, boing. Every time she says anything, there's a boing sound effect every time she talks. And it's like, is this like, what are we doing here? And it's like, unlike Attack on Titan, which was just always trying to be serious all the time, like there was like no comedy at all in that show, arguably. High School fan service. We're making a show for high schoolers, and they want, booba. They want big booba. They want Gynax bounce in their zombie apocalypse. And oh, by the way, every episode seems to end on a cliffhanger where a character dies and is taken seriously. Like there's like, this one character is dead. Oh my god. It's like an Attack on Titan shock. Because like every episode has this shock trope where it's like a character dies, it's supposed to be dramatic. It's supposed to be taken seriously. And it almost comes across as bathos. Or bathos. It comes across as bathos because it's so incompetently staged. High School of the Dead is a terrible show. If it's streaming, you might want to watch the first 2 episodes if you're one of those people who's like really curious about stuff like this. It's god-awful. It's god-freaking awful. Even without the fan service. Even without the fan service, it would be a terrible show. But it's made even worse by the fact that the fan service completely mucks with the tone. And I know you were supposed to say, oh my god, there's a sequence where a bullet is shot through a character's bouncing boobs. That's the kind of show this is. Yeah, but it's also the kind of show where when a character dies, it's supposed to be like The Walking Dead. It's supposed to be like imagine Attack on Titan with more fan service. I'm like, no, you can't do that. Or you can, but it's like the X the motion picture. I'm like, this character is being killed You know, this character, who's supposed to be a super sympathetic, you know, character, is about to be killed by a main character because it's an important scene in the movie. Because this character is going, you know, this character is wilding the crap out. They're going Bobby Boucher. They are losing control, like Superman in Justice League. Like this main character is about to become evil Superman, and there's this scene where the woman who's about to fight, this woman who's clearly about to be killed, starts screaming for help, saying, "Don't do this! Don't do this! Don't kill me!" And there's Gynax, and she hasn't been touched yet. She's just screaming for help. But they framed the sequence with a Gynax bounce on her because, again, if a woman's about to be killed, you have to make it hot, right? Is that what they're saying? If a woman's about to be killed, you have to make it really, really, sensual, because that's how you know she's in danger. That's how you know that a woman's about to die, is because the storytellers frame it as if it's a really, like, as if they move. Yeah, you know she's in danger because the animators thought that they were making hentai. So that's a trope that always sort of annoys me to death, because it's like, oh, okay, we're raising the stakes with fan service. I'm like, no. The fan service is, you should not be doing this. You shouldn't be framing the violence that way. Or you shouldn't be framing the threat of violence that way. But anyway, we're going on a rant. I'm playing a puzzle game, and I'm talking about empowering ecchi, so we're getting ready to move. Are we done yet? No, everything resets at 33 minutes. How far did I get? I wasn't able to beat this guy, was I? Yeah, I'm gonna have to level up. Okay, yeah, these guys are tough. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, we'll set up the class quest. The Diabolist. Yeah, let's finish up this one. Alright. So we're gonna have to combine two videos, that's okay. We're gonna have a 1 hour video where I talk about anime and fan service. Yeah, take that, anime streamers. All of you video game live streamers, you want to talk about Attack on Titan while you're playing Bloodborne, yeah. Talk to your boy. Talk to your boy who can whip out his semiotic analysis while playing a puzzle game, a tactical turn-based puzzle game. Holla at your boy. I need to practice that. There'll be a video essay in me eventually, but it takes too much. I mean, I can do a script. I can transcribe this script. Okay, we're gonna drop these two columns. Perfect. See now we're shaking. Now we're shaking. This is the 4 in a row right there. See, it's all working out. It's all working out in my favor. So people need to chill out with that. I mean, it's just. And look, I'll be the curator. I get it. I'll be the curator. I'll be the guy who goes to TubiTV and says, "What? This crap is not rated TV-14. What are you guys trying to pull on me?" I'm like, I've never heard of this show. I'm on TubiTV saying, "Oh, what's this TV-14 rated anime from that's being distributed by Anime Works?" Because remember, Anime Works sold the rights to some of their shows. They show the streaming rights for some of their shows. And some of these shows are like, they're supposed to be TV-14 rated. It's about high schoolers with 50-inch chests who trip and fall. And oh, by the way, it's about characters sitting on other characters' faces. This is not like, this is rated TV-14. Are you freaking kidding me? What are you trying to pull here? Good lord. It's like, oh, I'm sorry guys, that one was mislabeled. The heck it was. I'm pretty sure 17 is the maximum age for some of the stuff I was watching. And even then, I'm like, this is a show about high schoolers. It's like, it's rated TV-14. Oh, because they're all in high school. Oh, is that why it's rated TV-14? Because if an adult's watching this, they're gonna call the FBI, my dude. Why is this on Tubi? Why does this say TV-14 on it? I mean, you can watch TVMA stuff on there, because there's some TVMA stuff that's like, I think Space Dandy is TVMA. I mean, that's a bit more conventional, right? I have to get around to watching that. I'll get around to it. Okay, let's do the big hit. 24 on that guy. Okay, we need more blues. We have enough blues now, so go get them. Oh, we're good. Okay, holla. So we got that Diabolist. So we got the I'm got the some more if I want to get past that other quest. Remember, I win like 95% of my fights. You've seen these videos. And when I'm not recording commentary, I win 95% of the time too because I'm grinding up against low-level enemies. But when against a really hard fight like the one that's over here, yeah, that one's tough. So I'll have to come back later once I've leveled up. So what's my new class? Let me do a low-level fight to practice with it. Again, let's go to the guild. We have some level 10 fights over here, don't we? Nope, no more level 10 fights. Okay, so we'll do a more basic fight. No, we can't do that. Where are my low-level fights? I can't do a faction assault with that guy. We'll come back to that. I can't do a PvP either. Okay, we'll do something simple. Give me a low-level fight. Yeah, like this one. So if we're starting at level 0, we'll grind up this new class that I got. Let's see. What was that? Diabolist. That's what it's called. And there's no quick way. There's no quick way for me to like scroll to the left or right, is there? And there is a wraparound, but if you just wrap around, you end up with the you end up back at the locked class. So the locked classes are on the right. The unlocked classes are on the left. Raksha, Daemons, garbage. Garbage. Gave 1 soul return. This is one of those classes. I hate classes like this. Nothing interesting in this class at all. So basically the first 4 tiers of this class are completely worthless. I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. So let's level up this guy to level 10 then. I tried. So we'll do one more. So we'll end this marathon stream. We'll end this charity stream. Where I was talking about anime during a puzzle game. Puzzle Quest used to have like anime-esque art, I want to say, at one point, but you know that how well that turned out. It completely left it behind. I got like a massive list of anime I'm supposed to get around to, but again, the priority is Demon Slayer. And again, I have like one. I guess I don't have a go-to anime right now. I guess some of the speaking of ecchi, I guess. Monogatari could either be like salvageably creepy or just super creepy. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Again, with the framing. But it's kind of a cerebral series so far. So I'm kind of curious how the Monogatari series ends up. So far they're all dialogue heavy. They're kind of like Beyond Sunrise and Beyond, what was it called? Beyond Sunset, Beyond Sunrise. Like I forget who directed those. Yeah, who was the director? The guy who did Waking Life directed those. Richard Linklater, I think, directed those. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, it's about a high school dude talking to a bunch of high school and in one place middle school girls. And I think someone else framed it as a harem series where one dude had at least, apparently it's defined as a dude with 3 potential interests. But I've seen anime. I've seen was it Shujo or Shoujo? Shujo anime. That thrall's gonna that enemy thrall. That enemy Dark Master is gonna summon a thrall to replace the dead dude. So hold off on your attack for now. We'll wait till the enemy is summoned back to life, and then we'll start. Yeah, we'll be fine. Okay. Now summon the replacement. There we go. Let's go. Now we can unleash our attacks. So the whole idea is that, you know, you can have shows that are set in all girls schools, because that Euphonium show I told you about. I definitely want to see more of that Euphonium show. That show, not just because of the Rydeen stuff, but because it looks like a really charming show about a high school band. Of course, your boy sucks at music. I'm a cut and paste musician at best, but I'm very curious to see, because it's kind of interesting to see all these characters talk about instruments in such a loving way. It's like it's kind of a love letter to high school musicians. So I'm sort of curious about that. Looks really charming, and one hopes fan service free. Because I was recommending shows like Keep Your Hands Up Aizuken, to one of my female friends because I'm like, look, she's. Sometimes you know your friends. You don't want to introduce them to that kind of anime unless you know they're into it. You don't want to introduce them to really nasty anime if they're not into it. But if your friend's a Sailor Moon fan, and you're like, what would a Sailor Moon? What kind of anime would a Sailor Moon fan want to see? Like a Sailor Moon fan who's like super into who's super into you know, respectable YA material that's not sexist. Keep Your Hands Off Isaac is a show about 3 high school girls who... It's about a high school girl who moves to a new town and loves it so much she wants to make an anime about it. Because she's a fan of Future Boy Conan, I think. The Miyazaki... Was it the Miyazaki show or a Miyazaki movie? But she's a huge fan of Future Boy Conan. So she wants to turn her town into the setting for a Future Boy Conan-like anime. I have not seen Future Boy Conan. I'll see if it's streaming somewhere. I wouldn't be shocked if it was, but it might be like on High Dive or something. It might be on one of those like vintage anime Retro Crush like apps. The Retro Crush is not available on the Xbox One, I don't think. It might be on the PS4. We'll get around to it. But I'm not streaming any video on the PS4 because the Xbox One's a lot more convenient. Whoops. I thought my recording stopped. Okay, so we'll get around to that. We'll get around to all of the things. Fairy Tale. I don't like Fairy Tale. Fairy Tale might get interesting later, but it's supposed to be pretty lame. Future Card Buddy Fight. K. Like literally K. They turned the meme. They turned the one-letter meme into an anime, I guess. They turned the Kermit the Frog. They turned that Kermit the Frog meme into a anime. K. Make sure the subtitles are on, of course. We'll get around to that. Okay, should I attack or charge up my magic? Okay, these guys won't summon replacements if they die, so that's good. Because remember, the enemies that were killing me were the dudes that would summon drakes when they got killed. So we'll probably do one more fight with them. Yeah, yellows won't hurt us. Okay, I've been spending too much time thinking about this. Hit them with the reds. I can beat these guys. This is not a problem. This is fine. to quote the meme about the fiery house with the dog in it. This is fine. Okay. I've not eaten in 24 hours. Yeah, I literally I've not eaten anything in like 23 hours. Except for the hot dog and the peas I just ate. Oversharing, I know, but let's establish what's going on here. I'm not fasting, but I'm technically sleeping all day. It's the weekend. I'm allowed to sleep all day if I want. So how do we do? A new team slot. Okay, so my dervish is leveling up. Okay, so we'll try one more time. Can I beat a 77? No, I can't beat a 70. Those guys are too much strength. Okay, see if I can beat this guy with... Not with the dervish, obviously. Could I beat him with a mechanist, you think? Just a second. The Corsair class is supposed to be available at some point, because I have a campaign that requires me to use the Corsair class. Equip. I can level them up. I can probably level up this character. Gain barrier, sounds good. Gain armor. Okay, this is good. And once I'm level 20, I can gain magic at the start of a fight. So this character's gonna get a lot more. But for now, we'll just deal with the mechanist. Because I already tried with my warlord class, it didn't work. So let's try a class with a different set of skills. Let's try a different Liam Neeson class with a different set of skills. See if we can win with this set of skills. So we have a barrier to get things started. We have a bit more armor. We don't do as much skull damage, but that might be okay. If we can use magic instead, I think we'll be okay. So we don't have as much armor, but I think we'll be fine. There are other classes I can use too in this situation if I need to like entangle enemies or something like that. Did any of these guys summon Drake? So all these guys summon Drake. So the first guy, so everyone we kill is going to summon a Drake when they die. So we're going to have to kill 8 enemies instead of just 4. Unless we can turn off a trait. We might, there might be like a spell or something that can turn off a trait. That's going to help me out a lot. So if I can deactivate their traits, that'll help me out. Is there like a spell or something that is there like a spell that prevents people from activating traits or prevents people from summoning? Okay, let me try something out. This is gonna be interesting. Just a second, let me do a quick thing. I think these guys are speaking English. Okay, so I think they have Japanese subtitles on here. They're speaking in a language other than English. Okay, so we can set that up. I'll put it on my watch list. So we'll put K on my watch list, see what's going on, because the subtitles are already on. Let's see, blues. We'll leave the blues for later. We still charging up attacks? I kind of want to charge up attacks. Yellows we can use. What do we steal? We're stealing browns and purples. We don't use browns, so we're stealing purples. We don't use purples either. Well, this guy uses purples. The golem uses purples. So we got 4 right here. Orc armor. Oh, wait. No. So, he died and he summoned the Drake to replace him. Looks like we got a bunch of blues. Works for me. Blues. Got greens. Yeah, we got it. Alright. Blues. Yeah, I was just saying, like, if you have a friend who really likes loves Sailor Moon, it's like, but Sailor Moon had its moments, obviously, but it's like, you don't want to show them anything nasty. So you're like, you know what, Einstein sounds good, because it's basically, you know, it's a YA show. It's a school for a teenage girl. It's a show, it's a relatively wholesome show for teenage girls about the creative process. It's a museum-friendly anime, unlike some of the crap I've stumbled onto that I won't talk about just yet, because I'm like, I've never heard of this anime before. Let's see what it's like I'm flipping the dial, saying, I've never heard of this anime. What's this one like? Because it's like there are shows that are on my watch list that I actually just want to see, because I heard they looked very interesting, or I've been told they're very interesting. And there are shows that are like, I've literally know nothing. I'm gonna go in blind. And I'm starting to think that going into anime blind is a bad idea, even though I like the idea of exposing myself to new animation, but going in blind to anime is you're gonna get yourself in trouble. You're gonna wind up on an FBI watch list. if you quote stumble, quote unquote, on the wrong anime. I'm like, look, dude, if this were a film festival, I'm treating this like, this is my Crunchyroll, TubiTV, Pluto TV film festival. There is anime on Pluto TV. I'll make a note of some of it a bit later. But it tends to be, Pluto TV has anime channels. They have the Naruto channel. They have a One Piece channel. I don't think they have a Dragon Ball channel. They definitely have channels for those two. They have an all-purpose anime channel that just shows, like, they show Kaiba on there. They might be showing Kaiba now. Kaiba, I don't believe is streaming anywhere else that I know of. I think it's streaming on High Dive. But Kaiba was definitely streaming on Pluto TV. So I definitely want to get my hands on it. I just want to see if I can watch some of that. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to see when a Kaiba comes on. Because it's available, it's streaming illegally on YouTube in 240p. So it's probably like a really old, it's like a really hard, it's kind of rare. It's kind of old, it's kind of rare. It's supposed to be like a really weird sci-fi, a spec-fi series, like a sci-fi series. I don't know if it's kid-friendly, but it looks really interesting. But it's really kind of bizarre. I'm curious how that's going to play out. Browns, yep. Attack everyone with browns, because we are down with brown, right, kids? Wow. What the heck was that? All this talk about, all this talk about empowering ecchi and being down with brown is gonna get me demonetized if my channel were monetized. Everything I'm saying in this video is going to be clipped and shipped at some point. I'm going to have to defend myself. And people are going to clip and ship all my Usenet rambling and say, ha, this guy's toxic. I'm like, dude, yeah, the clip was toxic. The context was not. Don't be one of those anime. Don't be one of those internet people who responds to clips instead of context. Don't be one of those people. Okay, where are we? Right here. Your boy's old enough to remember when what was it? Actually, no, it wasn't phone conversation. What was it? Yeah, I'm old enough to remember the whole jelly bean thing from the Exxon thing. I'm like, yeah, there was a time when executives would make jokes about black jelly beans. And Al Campanis jokes used to be a thing. Yeah, we don't want those days back. It's 2021. We don't want them back. Some stuff was cool, but not that. That was not cool. Any more? Yeah, we got 4 in a row down here. I might survive this, but I'm gonna need a big hit. I'm gonna need a big brown hit. Here we go. Let's go. Purple. Hit him with the purple. Darn it! I forgot. Ugh. That's the problem. All they do is summon drakes. It's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, I can beat these guys. I've got the level up. I'm gonna need way more health. I'm gonna need to hit them way harder. If I want to win, I need to hit people harder. That's my logic. So we'll come back in a second.